Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today I'm going to be showing you the Sons of Behemat army as they are right now anyway. So we've got our Destruction Battletome, which we're going to go through and check out all these rules. And we've got the two kits that make up the Sons of Behemat army. Which are these guys. We've got the Mega-Gargant, which actually has 3 different variants that you can build in it. And we've got the Mancrusher Gargants, which the box also contains the components to create an Ale-Guzzler Gargant. Ale-Guzzler Gargants, which are for Gloomspite kits, and Chaos Gargants, which are for Beasts of Chaos. Right, so our Gargants, our Mancrusher Gargants, and our nice big Mega-Gargant. And the Stormcast Eternal has reference size. Let's go with this guy who doesn't actually fit in the screen, he's so big. We've got the Kraken-eater, which is the one that I chose to build. We've got the Gatebreaker, and we've got the Warstomper. Now, each of these guys has a specific way of being built, and it shows you right at the beginning what 3 variants can be built. As you can see, the body is the same on each of them, but we've got a lot of different parts. Even the feet can be changed, and you could even mix and match the feet if you wanted to have your own special version, I imagine. We've got 3 different heads. We've got 3 different hands or arm options. There's so much detail on these as well. And you could magnetize it so that you can change one guy to the other, but all these extra little bits in the center here would be pretty difficult to magnetize well, and they're so fiddly, they're so small that I'd be worried magnetization of some of these parts would really hurt them. Just taking them apart and putting them back together. But the really important pieces to get right for WYSIWYG is to make certain these weapons they all have their own unique weapons. So if you're going to use a Kraken-eater, then he better have the weapons associated with them, and the Warstomper has his own weapons, and the Gatebreaker has his own weapons. So the weapon options are what you have to worry about for functional difference. We have 4 sprues for the Mega-Gargant, and we've got a lot of full extra pieces, like full extra weapons, and all sorts of different stuff that was specific to a particular one, but you could totally use it for anything. There's all sorts of extra cool things, and of course the heads are completely separate, other than the fact that I'm pretty certain this guy needs the teeth that might go with the other guy. This fellow's head is completely separate. We've got a shield that we could use somewhere. This is supposed to be the back of someone's shoulders, but as you can see, you can use it for whatever you want. We've got a big old nasty bell that they turned into a flail. And so many different weapons and extras on 4 sprues. I mean, and you even got extra feet. A full set of extra feet. These guys are Mancrusher Gargants. There's only 1 war scroll for them. There's only 1 weapon option, so really it's all aesthetics. You've got a free hand, or holding a person, and you've got a melee weapon, and all the rest are just extra bits. We've got the old bases, I guess. Old square bases if you wanted to use them in fantasy. And we got some really neat some really neat little extra pieces. See, a flat fellow. There's two of these, little flat as a pancake grots, and we've got a signpost, some guy who's flailing about trying to get away, arrows to be like to have arrows sticking out of them from all sorts of angles, and a little pitchfork, an extra arm. Oh, a cage, extra weapons. There's like a little crow, a tongue. Funny. Oh my gosh, a little, I think a pig or a deer that's been skewered, and tree trunks, and of course extra heads, and little hands and hooves. Pretty neat looking little makeshift weapons. There's a lot of extra little bits here. A wheel. And wait, there's more. This is a duplicate of the previous one, but of course I use different pieces. Look how many extra feet we have. And yeah, this piece was basically not used at all, so we got two duplicate kits. A little barrel. Two duplicate kits to build two guys from. And you can have all sorts of extra things. See a little cloak, shields, and scared guy, and hooves, and a necklace. Just a lot of extra stuff. The Destruction Battletome, Sons of Behemat. To the Gargant, the races of men, Dwarden, and Ilf are weak. These gigantic oafs guffaw and bellow as they grind such pipsqueaks underfoot, relishing the feeling of breaking bones and squishing flesh between their toes. They stamp veteran warriors flat and kick armored horses into ordered shield walls just for the fun of it. For them, battle is recreation. The Gargant of the past is gone. Now come the Sons of Behemat, and they are strength incarnate. Looks pretty good. Oh, against corpse. The Beast Gargantuan. All about the sizes, everything. All about the history. Some really nice artwork. Look at that big guy. Look at that. Oh, against Stormcast Journals. Alright. Gives you ideas of how to paint them. And gets you into it. The Age of Myth, what they were doing in the Age of Myth. With some really nice artwork. The Rise of the World Titan, which is Land of the Gargants in Gur, the Realm of Beasts. Stomping Grounds. The Gurish Heartlands. Lovely map. Ooh! Beastgrave. And Excelsis. And the Great Gut Fort. When roused to wrath, all sorts of lovely Siege of the Tuskwalt. The Stamp of History. Age of Myth, Glorious Destruction, Age of Chaos, Age of Sigmar, the History of the Gargants, the Gargant Tribes, Ron Dual Stomp, Big Heel, Under the Heel, Foot Sloggers. Mercenaries at large. Gargants of all kinds are given to follow their whims. After all, who is going to stop them? Because of this, they regularly leave their tribe and fight where and how they please. Of late, Mega-Gargants have been seen fighting alongside the armies of Sigmar, just as they also fight alongside those of Archaon, and even, at times, Nagash. Okay, alright. Kraken-eater Mega-Gargants. The one that I assembled. Warstomper Mega-Gargants. Ooh, and someone called One-Eyed Chronox. A Gatebreaker Gargants. Someone called a Big Drog Fort Kicker. Oh, that guy. Cool. Mancrusher Gargants. King Broad. Some more fantastic pictures. Ooh. Pretty awesome. The Violent Colossus. Pictures, pictures, pictures. So nice to see all the various ways that you might be able to color him. See, orange hair and turtle shell of gold. Well, this one is gray hair, turtle shell of brown. They look very vibrant. I like how these were. Yeah, Fire Slayers. Only you guys. Only you guys. Ooh, in the pits. So many nice pictures. Look at all that. They're smaller Mancrusher Gargants. Pictures, pictures, pictures. The tribe on the rampage. All the various guys that you can use, which again, I'll just come out of these two boxes that I showed you. Painting your guys. Painting your guys. Oh, that's very nice. Makeshift armor. Do, 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 do. All these paintings. Oh, Kitbashing. Nice. It has a little extra info about Kitbashing. That's nice for new players. The Gargant armies. Alright. Okay, so here we go. Allegiance abilities. We're here. Battle traits. Titans of Battle. Alright. Mightier makes rightier. Okay. When determining control of an objective, each friendly Mancrusher Gargant model counts as 10 models instead of 1, and each friendly Mega-Gargant counts as 20 models instead of 1. If the battle plan being played does not follow the normal rules for controlling objectives, you can pick whether to use this battle trait or to follow the rules from the battle plan each time control of the objective is determined. Well, that's handy. Chuck rocks. In your shooting phase, you can pick one friendly Mancrusher Gargant unit wholly within 18 inches of your general. Each model in that unit can make a shooting attack with Chuck Rock's missile weapon below. Well, that's really something to consider, isn't it? 18 inches of your general. They all get this 18-inch D3 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -1, D3 damage. That's nice. as long as they're within 18 inches of their general. Cool. Lord and Master, which means that you can't just look at their war scroll. You have to remember that they also have this attack in your shooting phase. Cool. Lord and Master, the general of a Sons of Behemat army must be one of the following types of Mega-Gargant. Depending on the type of Mega-Gargant you choose, you can use the extra abilities listed on the pages indicated. A Kraken-eater is referred to as Sons of Kraken-eater. The army with this type of general is referred to as a Taker tribe. Okay. A Warstomper has a Stomper tribe, and a Gatebreaker has a Breaker tribe. Ooh, so it does really matter how you put your guys together. Okay. Taker tribes. Battle traits. Get rid of them. When using the mightier makes rightier rule to determine control of an objective, each friendly Mancrusher Gargants counts as 15 instead of 10, and Mega-Gargant counts as 30 instead of 20. Wow. That is cool. That's rough for your opponent. Still, it is needed. Yeah, I think it's definitely needed. They've got so few things to target, your opponent does, so you really need to get to make it worthwhile. Okay, interesting. More stuff from my collection. Each time an enemy model with an artifact of power is slain, you can roll for a triumph on the triumph table. You can use that triumph during the current battle, even if you have already used it. If you do not use it during the current battle, it is lost. Command traits. Alright, we've got Taker tribes. Okay, this is all underneath the Taker tribes command trait. Yeah. Okay. So, monstrously tough. This general has a wounds characteristic of 40 instead of 35. Cool. Old and gnarly. You can reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target this general. Okay. Louder than words. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of General Shipwrecker War Club. Strong right foot. When you use this general's "Get off me land," which I absolutely love, ability to kick an objective marker away, you can roll 3d6 instead of 2d6 to determine how far it is kicked. I mean, I guess in the right situation. I'm kind of up for this. I think so far, this is what I like the best so far. Okay, you let me know. Very acquisitive. Yes, that's right. This particular guy, the one that I built, can kick objectives into different locations. You heard that right. It's pretty awesome. Very acquisitive. Yes, okay. You can take 1 extra trophies taken by force artifact of power for this general, and the trophies taken by force are all the ones on the other page. Okay. You can take more than 1. In addition, this general can have up to 2 artifacts of power instead of 1. Hoo-hoo! I've got to see what those artifacts of power are, because this seems pretty nice. Huh. Extremely intimidating. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for enemy models that are within 3 inches of this general. That seems pretty nice. Ah, man. Okay. So far I'm in between these two now. Let's see what the artifacts of power do. Okay, artifacts of power. Again, this is the Kraken-eater Mega-Gargant only. Alright, Jaws of the Mogalodon. Once per phase, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll for an attack made by the bearer, or 1 save roll for an attack that targets the bearer. You cannot use this ability to reroll more than 1 dice for the bearer in the same phase. Alright? Walloping Tentacle. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 inches of the bearer and roll a dice. within 3 inches, okay? On a 4+, that hero suffers 1 mortal wound, and you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks that target that hero until the end of the phase. Nice. Jar of Burny Grog. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer and roll a dice. On a 2+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and until the end of that phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Gargants that target that unit. On a 1, the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's fine for a Gargant. D3 mortal wounds. Bah. I kind of like that one. I mean, it's once per battle. It is once per battle. Reroll. Maybe. I mean, if you use that, and you're going to get 2 instead of 1, maybe. Net of the Beast Reaver. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy monster within 3 inches of the bearer and roll a dice. On a 4+, until the end of that phase, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that monster, and you can add 1 to hit rolls for attacks that target that monster. That's pretty handy. I mean, there will be instances for sure where you won't have a monster to go against, but it's not that often. Pretty awesome. And the monsters probably have the best chance. Nah, I was gonna say they might have the best chance of taking down the Mega-Gargant, but really hordes and all of those dice rolls probably have a better chance of taking down the Mega-Gargant. Alright, Glowy Lantern. The bearer can attempt to cast 1 spell in your hero phase and unbind 1 spell in the enemy hero phase in the same manner as a wizard. Ooh. The bearer knows the Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield spells. Still, that's good. Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield, but more so the unbind 1 spell in the enemy hero phase. That's nice. Glowy Lantern. I like that. Kraken Skin Sandals. The bearer's Almighty Stomp has an attack characteristic of 3 instead of 2, a rend characteristic of -3 instead of 2, and a damage characteristic of 3 instead of D3. That's nice. Still, subtract 1 from hit rolls for enemy models that are within 3 inches of this general. That's pretty good. And it's not necessarily attacking him, just within 3 inches of them, and they're all... So I think what I would do with him, because he has his, like, objective kicking ability, I'd run him over to the objective that I'm least likely to get and kick it away to my other guys. Oh my gosh, that's so nasty, just kicking the objectives around, particularly if you're against a slow army. Oh, that would be so nasty. Sounds fun. Stomper Tribes. Okay, this one is for the Warstomper Mega-Gargant. Getting stuck in. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made by friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that target a unit with 10 or more models. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack. Well, that's nice. Add 2 instead of 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made by friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that target a unit with 20 or more models. It's good. Big shouts. If your army is a Stomper tribe, your general must use the following Big Shout command abilities. They cannot use any other command abilities. Well, you know, I don't think that's too bad a thing. I don't remember if they have any command abilities. Yeah, command traits are not the same as command abilities, so I guess we'll find out. Okay. Get a move on, you slackers. You can use this command ability at the start of your movement phase. If you do until the end of that phase, you can make a run roll for friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that are within 18 inches of the general, and that roll is treated as being 6. Well, that's nice. Start of the movement phase. If you do, and you can make a run roll for friendly. if you make, no, I read it wrong. If you make a run roll, that roll is being treated as 6. Nice. Use this command ability. I mean, don't they already have that ability? Like, everyone? Am I thinking this wrong? I thought everyone had that ability. Or maybe it's just a reroll. I'll have to check it out. Too many rules. Grab those rocks and chuck them at something. You can use this command ability at the start of your shooting phase. If you do, when you use the Chuck Rocks battle trait, you can pick all friendly Mancrusher units within 18 inches to make Chuck Rocks shooting attacks instead of one. Well, I certainly like that. That's nice. Nice. Oi, you! Yes, you! Charge! You can use this command ability at the start of your charge phase. If you do, until the end of that charge phase, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that are within 18 inches of your general. I like that. Any of them, so that's fine. Stop mucking about and hit him. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, until the end of that phase, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that are within 18 inches of your general. You can reroll hit rolls of 1. Nice! Watch your backs, you gormless lot. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, until the end of that phase, you can reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target friendly Mancrusher Gargant units that are within 18 inches of your general. Nice. So many things that you can do with these guys. Cool. Where do you think you're going? You can use this command ability at the start of your Battle Shock phase. If you do so, until the end of that phase, do not take Battle Shock tests for friendly Mancrusher Gargants units that are within 18 inches of your general. How often, though, would a Mancrusher Gargant unit have to take morale? I guess I'm going to find out. What is their Gargants? Have a bravery of 7. They've got a maximum of 3 in their... Okay, so if you lose 2 in the one turn on a 6, the last guy might leave. So... I don't know. If you say so. Okay, that's why they've got that. They cannot use any other command abilities. Okay, silly me. They don't have any of all the... They don't get to use the main things that anyone can use. That's why they've got all that. Okay, silly me. Alright. Command traits for veterans of one-sided battle. Monstrously tough. This general has a bonus character of 40 instead of 35, same as the other ones. Old and gnarly, again, that's the same. Reroll save rolls of 1. Louder than words. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this general's Titanic Boulder Club, so that's the same. Add 1 to attacks. When this general's hurled body ability, when you use this general's hurled body ability, you can reroll the dice that determines if the target is slain or thrown. Handy. That is handy. This guy, this particular fellow, the Warstomper Mega-Gargant, he doesn't kick objectives around, but he can hurl guys. He can pick up someone around you and hurl them at someone else 12 inches away, which I absolutely like. So you can reroll to... That's only if the target, when you pick them up, you squish them to death, slain. So you can reroll that dice if that is the case. That's good. Very shouty. If this general is on the battlefield at the start of the first battle round, you receive D3 extra command points. Well, that's nice, particularly since you have so many different command abilities to use. Eager for the fight. Oh, you have to choose one of these, right? I kind of think I'd want to choose this one. Maybe. Eager for the fight. You can attempt to charge with this general if it is within 18 inches of the enemy instead of 12 inches. Roll 3d6 instead of 2d6 when making a charge roll for this general. That's pretty cool. I mean, they are all melee units, particularly this one. So, absolutely getting in it there. And your opponent is definitely going to forget that he has an 18-inch charge roll, so they're going to put them in mind that you can only get that far across the battlefield, but instead you're going to zoom across the battlefield an additional 6 inches. Well, possibly an additional 6 inches. I don't know which one I would choose. I really like that, but it is just one ability. I think this would be better. You're gonna get more stuff killed. It'll be harder to keep this general out of a fight at 18 inches instead of 12. I think I'd go with that one. You let me know which one you would choose. Very interested. Warstomper Mega-Gargant only, of course. Trappings of the Titan. Iron Weld Cestus. You can reroll save rolls for attacks that target the bearer. In addition, if the reroll save roll is an unmodified 6 and the attack was made with a melee weapon, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after all of its attacks have been resolved. Well, that's really handy. That's the Iron Weld Cestus. And Club of the First Oak. In your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the bearer. Oh, well, that's handy. Regenerating Gargants. Cool. In addition, if the bearer is slain, is he going to come back? Roll a dice before the bearer's model is removed from play. On a 4+, the wound or mortal wound is negated and the bearer is not slain, and any wounds that remain to be allocated to the bearer are negated. Cool. In your hero phase, in addition, if the bearer is slain, roll. Wow, that just. Oh my gosh, he could just keep doing it. Oh, that's nasty. Between that, I mean, reroll save rolls is quite nice, unless he doesn't have a very good save roll. Let's just take a quick glance. Warstomper? Is it a Warstomper? Yeah, we're at the Warstomper. Okay. His save roll is 4+. Okay. I think I'd just go with the regenerating guy, because that's horrifying. Mantle of the Destroyer. Friendly Gargants have a bravery characteristic of 10 while they're within 12 inches of the bearer. In addition, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Gargants that are within 12 inches of the bearer. That's nice. But I think I like my regenerating Warstomper Mega-Gargant. Please do. Okay. And lastly, the Breaker Tribe. Hate-fueled Wreckers. Okay. Breaking down the houses. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made by friendly Mancrusher Gargants, units that target a unit that is part of a garrison or is wholly on or within a terrain feature. What are you doing hiding from me? In addition, at the end of the combat phase, you can pick 1 terrain feature within 3 inches of a friendly Mancrusher Gargant unit and roll a dice. Add the number of models in that unit to the roll. On a 7+, that terrain feature is reduced to rubble. All of its scenery rules are replaced with deadly scenery, and its keyword are changed to scenery rubble. And these guys like to break down scenery. Their war scroll tells us that they like to break down scenery anyway, so it looks like these guys are gonna be pretty nasty for that. I mean, it would be pretty handy, I suppose, that if you're stuck behind a building and rather than going around it, you're just gonna break it down at the end of the combat phase. You can pick one, yeah, you just break it down and keep going. Kind of handy. Fierce Loathings. When you pick a Breaker Tribe army, you can choose or roll for one ability from the Fierce Loathings table. The ability applies to friendly Gatebreaker Mega-Gargants and friendly Mancrusher Gargants. Okay. Roll or choose. Why would you roll? I don't know. Alright. Bossy Pants and Clever Clogs. I'm a Clever Clogs. Fierce Loathing. Bossy Pants and Clever Clogs. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a hero or a wizard to kill. Idiots with Flags. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a totem or a unit with any command models. So cute. I didn't realize at first that they were referring to a hero as a wizard as Bossy Pants and Clever Claws. Idiots with Flags. Okay, the shiny ones. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a unit with a save characteristic of 1+, 2+, 3+, or 4+, and that is not a hero or a monster. I imagine we'd be using that one a lot. Crowds. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a unit with 20 or more models. Cool. Wannabes. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a war machine or a monster. Piggybackers. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a unit with a mount that is not a monster. So cute. Alright, when you pick, when you pick a Breaker Tribe army, you can choose or roll for one ability from the Fiercing Loathsome. Okay, so this is before the game begins. Got it. Which one? Which one would I choose? Probably that one. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a unit with a save characteristic of 1+, 2+, 3+, or 4+. I think that one. But hey, I guess if you're going against one person more than any other, you may decide to attack the Bossy Pants and Clever Clogs. Cute. Alright, what are the command traits? Unstoppable Besiegers. We've got, as before, monstrously tough, old and gnarly, louder than words. Here's a new one. Add to the wounds characteristic of 40 instead of 35, reroll save rolls of 1, or add 2 to the attacks characteristic of this general's Fort Crusher Flail. Oh, 2 attacks instead of 1 as the previous ones were. Extremely Bitter. You can choose or roll for 2 abilities from the Fierce Loathings table for your army instead of 1. Nice. If you randomly generate the second, roll again if it is the same as the first. The second ability only applies to the general. Cool. I like that. Yeah. Probably go with that. Ones thus far for the command traits. Smasher. When you use this general's Smash Down ability, I think that's the one that targets... Yeah, the one that targets terrain. You can reroll the dice roll that determines if the terrain feature is turned into rubble. Handy. Seize Red. While this general is within 9 inches of a terrain feature that can have a garrison, when you look up a value on this general's damage table, they are treated as if they have suffered 0 wounds. Handy, but I think I would go with the Extremely Bitter. So I get 2 Fierce Loathing abilities. Artifact of Power, Legacy of Demolition, Gatebreaker Mega-Gargant only. What do we got? We got 3 different artifacts of power in Enchanted Portcullis. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bearer. On a 6, that wound or mortal wound is negated. On a 6, specifically, not... Well, I guess there's no way it could be a 6+, is it? I suppose. So, why add the plus when you don't need to? Okay, cool. The Great Rekka. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the bearer's Fort Crusher Flail is 6, unmodified hit roll is 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. Nice. In addition, when you use the bearer's Smash Down ability, you can add 1 to the dice roll that determines if the terrain feature is reduced to rubble. Seems good. I mean, I do like negating wounds. That's always really nice. Particularly when you have so few models to rely on, and he goes down in power each time that he takes a wound. Inflicting extra mortal wounds, though, is quite nasty, particularly for anything that has really high saves. Guess maybe. Kind of like that one, though. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by the bearer that target a hero. In addition, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by the bearer that target a general. You know. Nah. I would go with one of those guys. Probably that guy. I like my guys to be tough and extra bitter. Okay. Ooh, battle plans. Battle plans. Take tribe background tables for narrative play and stuff. Oh, we should name one. Okay. Sogdur Sulthand. Weird. Craggy Seacrawler. Longdorg the Crocodon. Slimy Sallow the Gullygash. Cute. Zongro the Sea Swill. Moto the Thinker. Zongro Net Hurler. Fun. Quirk. Miserly. Stomp. Oh, that was just for the one that is Kraken. And then the Stomp. There's the Stomper tribe one. And the Breaker tribe. Nagar the Besieger. The Moat Drinker. Okay. Mega-Gargant Mercenaries. This section contains rules that allow an army to include a Mega-Gargant Mercenary, as well as additional rules for Kraken-eater Warstomper and Gatebreaker Mega-Gargant Kit are used when they are taken as mercenaries. Cool. To include a Mega-Gargant in your army, you must first pick which Mega-Gargant you will hire, no problem. Any army can include a Mega-Gargant mercenary, not just Sons of Behemat armies. You can hire 1 Mega-Gargant mercenary for your army. If you do, your army cannot include any other mercenary units or any allied units. Very reasonable. The players can agree to ignore this restriction in open play and narrative play battles. I would have so many cool things in a narrative play battle. I'd have my Mega-Gargant, I'd have my Gotrek, and I'd not have much room for anything else. 3 Bloodthirsters. Except that they can't be allies. No. Alright. Mega-Gargant and Gotrek Garnison and Alariel. 3 guys. Come at me. 1 more. Tree Lord Ancient. Sure. There we go. My Sylvaneth army. Tree Lord Ancient, Alariel, Mega-Gargant, Gotrek Garnison. Let's go. Die. Alright, Mega-Gargant Mercenaries gain the mercenary keyword. Sure. Treated as part of your army, except they are not included in working out your army's allegiance and can therefore be a part of different Grand Alliance. In addition, cannot be the army's general, and cannot use or benefit from your army's allegiance abilities. No problem. Okay, pitched battles. You can include 1 in a pitched battle army, even if it costs more points than you have available. Sure. A pitched battle army can never include more than 1. A Mega-Gargant Mercenary unit are not included when working out the number of battle lines. Sure. Special rules. Disruptive presence. If your army includes any mercenary units at the start of your hero phase, in the first battle round you do not receive 1 command point. Sure, that's fine. It's just the 1. Ooh. Bundo Whalebiter Kraken-eater Mercenary. If you pick this Mega-Gargant Mercenary to be hired, you must include 1 Kraken-eater Mega-Gargant. Kraken-eater Mega-Gargants can only be taken as mercenary units by Order and Destruction armies. Okay. Or by armies from factions that are part of the Order or Destruction Grand Alliance. Sure. Dead Cunning for a Gargant. At the start of the combat phase, you can say that this model will be uncannily cunning. If you do so, this model fights at the end of that phase, but you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made by this model in that phase. Well, that's super cool. Bundo Whalebiter, you say? This is Bundo Whalebiter. Cool. Bundo, I like you. Alright, now we've got One-Eyed Grunnock. Are these with all the storylines? I was wondering why there was a storyline. But yeah. Except for that one's... Wasn't one of them called Grod? This one's Drog. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. If you pick Warstomper, so his name is One-Eyed Grunnock and he's a Warstomper. Chaos and Destruction armies. Or by armies from factions that are part of the Chaos or Destruction Grand Alliance, can take a Warstomper. Shake the Earth. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for jump up and down attacks made by this model. In addition, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units that are within 6 inches of this model if this model made any jump up and down attacks earlier in the same phase, which is right. It's quite neat. They're still shaken from him jumping up and down. Alright, that's cute. Big Drog Fort Kicker Gatebreaker Mercenary. Alright. So, the Gatebreaker Mercenary can be taken with Death and Destruction units. Armies. Cool. Imagine I could take that guy with my ghosts. Look at him working with the ghosts. I mean, why? I don't know. It began as happenstance, my lady. Grievous halitosis. Oh my gosh. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 3 inches of this model and roll a number of dice equal to the number of models from that unit that are within 3 inches of this model. For each 6, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. You can pick 1 enemy unit within 3 inches and roll a number of dice equal to the number of models from that unit that are within 3 inches of this model. For each 6, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Nasty. That's cool. So we got one for... So all of them can be in destruction. But this guy, the Gatebreaker, can be in death. The Warstomper can be in chaos. And the Kraken-eater can be in order. Cool. Really neat. Darn it all. Ugh. Does that mean I need... Does that mean I need this model? Gotta need this model now. Alright, here we are. The War Scrolls, which will be very quick because there are 4. There are 4. But I guess we'll go to the pitch battles first, just so we have an idea of how much they cost. So, we've got a minimum of 1. So they can be alone and you can have several different units of 1 guy. Or you can have 3. You can have a max of 3. Yes, they come in a box of 2, but you can have a max of 3. 180 points each, or 480 points for the 3. They are behemoths. In a Sons of Behemat army, they count as 3 battle line units if you have 3 in your group. So you're going to want to buy at least 2 boxes of these guys. 480 and each of these guys are 490, or except for you, are 480. No allies, but they can be mercenaries. So for a 2,000 point army, you... Yeah, I guess I'd use 6 Mancrusher Gargants and 2 of these guys. I mean, it's only 8 models. But it counts as a lot more models. Would I want them to be in units of 3 or not? For objectives. Can't destroy objectives in this one. Can destroy terrain. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I mean, really, I'd want 2 of them because they're so awesome, but you could probably should use 9 Mancrusher Gargants and 1 of these guys. Kind of would want to use 2 of them and 6 Mancrusher Gargants. Probably. Oh, and a little exit. Okay, let's look at the war spells. Alright, so they each start off. So when you're making a decision, unless of course you're choosing the one that matches your army because you're using it as a mercenary, when you're making the decision, they have 35 wounds, save on a 4+, have a 7 bravery, and this Kraken-eater moves 11 inches initially, the Warstomper moves 10 inches initially, and the Gatebreaker moves 12 inches initially. Okay. This fellow, the Kraken-eater, has hurled debris, which originally has a range of 24 inches, 3 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, run -1, d3 damage. He has an almighty stomp of 2-inch range, 2 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, run -2, d3 damage. If I recall correctly, there was a way to increase this to 3 attacks back in the other section. He has a death grip of 3 inches, 1 attack, 3+ to hit, 2+ to wound, rend -3, d6 damage. And his Shipwrecker Club, Wreck of War Club, has a 3-inch range, which is really nice. All of these ranges for hitting multiple units is great. 3-inch range, 8 attacks initially, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -2, 2 damage each. 8 attacks, 2 damage each, 3+, 3+. That's pretty nice. Rend -2. Alright, so he has an Almighty Stomp, which says you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for Almighty Stomp attacks unless the target is a monster, which is nice. The Almighty Stomp normally only has 2 attacks, so rerolling hit rolls of 1 is handy. Crushing Charge. After this model makes a charge move, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of this model. On a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds if it is a monster, or d6 mortal wounds if it is not a monster. Oh, nice. Death Grip. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for Death Grip attacks that target a monster. Cool. Get off my land! In your hero phase, if you have any models with this ability within 1 inch of an objective that you control, you can pick one of the models and say that it will kick the objective away. Which is so cool. If you do so, you can move that objective up to 2d6 to a new position on the battlefield, more than 1 inch away from any models, terrain features, or other objectives. An objective cannot be kicked away more than once in the same phase, which is good. That would be kind of nasty. Just be playing soccer with the objective and you can never get it back. You just kick it to your other fellows and they'll take care of it from there. It's actually, that'd be interesting because you would go for the one that was like super hard for you guys to keep, but you'd turn around and kick it. Wait, I guess you don't have to technically turn around, you just have to be within 1 inch of it. You kick it back to your little Mancrusher Gargant allies, and they hold it. Cool. Alright, Longshanks. When this model makes a normal move, it can ignore models that have a wounds characteristic of 10 or less, and terrain features that are less than 4 inches tall at their highest point. It cannot finish the move on top of another model or within 3 inches of an enemy model. So I like the fact that it'll just literally walk over other things to get to where it wants to go. Sons of Behemat. If a spell or ability would slay this model without any wounds or mortal wounds being inflicted by the spell or ability, this model suffers d6 mortal wounds instead, which is very reasonable. The fact that you can't outright slay something, because it would just be too important of a model in your army. All of those, yeah. All of these guys have that same ability. Yeah. Sun? Sun, okay. And not these guys though. Not the little fellows, just the big guy, which makes sense to me. Alright. Stephanie Net. One of the main reasons I chose to make this guy. Well, I didn't even know that he would be available for order armies, which is handy. But this one is after this model piles in. So before he even makes all of his attacks, you can pick up to D3 enemy models within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice for each of them. If the roll is at least double that model's wound characteristic, it is slain. So that's fun. Terror. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of enemy units if they are within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. Makes sense. Timber! All of these have the timber effect, which is if this model is slain before removing the model from the battlefield, the players must roll off. The winner must pick a point on the battlefield 5 inches from this model. Each unit within 3 inches of that point suffers D3 mortal wounds unless it is a Mega-Gargant. This model is then removed from the battlefield. Awesome. Alright, so the Warstomper Mega-Gargant has a death grip, but instead of being 1 attack, oops, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Its death grip is exactly the same as the other ones, which is 1 attack, 3+ to hit, 2+ to wound, -3 rend, and d6 damage. And I assume, yeah, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for death grip if it targets a monster. It also has an almighty jump, but this case is using jump up and down instead of almighty stomp. This is almighty stomp. This one is almighty jump. And jump up and down, 3 inches range, 4 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -2, d3 damage each, and you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for jump up and down attacks unless the target is a monster. Super cute. I think there's even, yeah, there was those special abilities that increase the ability for jump up and down, which is cute. Off in the command traits section. Crushing charge, same thing. After the model makes a charge move, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of it. On a 2+, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds if it is a monster, or d6 mortal wounds if it is not a monster. Hurled body, which is why I really like this by low too. Once per combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy model within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. Add the hurled body modifier shown on this model's damage table. So 2 + 2 initially to the roll. If the roll is at least double that enemy's model's wound characteristic, it is slain and you can roll another dice. On a 4+, you can pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of this model and visible to it. That unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the wounds characteristic of the slain model. It's just cute. Hurling dudes around. Longshanks. Right, same sort of thing. It's tall, it ignores guys with wounds characteristic of less when moving over it, it ignores terrain features with less than 4 inches tall at their highest point, and it cannot finish the move on top of another model or within 3 inches of an enemy model. The Sons of Behemat is the same thing, the Terror is the same thing, the Timber is the same thing, and now it also has a Titanic Boulder Club. The attack's characteristic of a Titanic Boulder Club is equal to the number of enemy models within 3 inches of the attacking model. Alright, so 3 inches, however many models are around, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -2 rend, and 2 damage is this Titanic Boulder Club. Add the Titanic Boulder Club value on the attacking model's damage table to the total, which starts off at 4+, and add 4 to the total for each enemy monster within 3 inches of the attacking model. If the modified attacks characteristic of the Titanic Boulder Club is less than 1, count it as being 1, and if the modified attacks characteristic of the Titanic Boulder Club is more than 10, count it as being 10. Right, okay, so say there was 5 guys around you, you'd have 5 attacks. If he was full health, it'd be 5 plus 4. That's 9 attacks. If there was a monster around, you'd add another 4, but you have a maximum of 10, so your total would be 10. If there wasn't a monster around, you'd just be a total of 9. Yeah. Cool. Alright. Now, last variant. He has a hurled boulder, which has an initial range of 18 inches. It is 1 attack, 3+ to hit, 2+ to wound, rend -3, 4 damage. Handy. Is there anything special about that boulder? No. Alright. So he has an Almighty Stomp, which is 2-inch range, 2 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -2, d3 damage. The Almighty Stomp can reroll hit rolls of 1 unless the target is a monster. He's got the Crushing Charge ability, as well as the Death Grip, which is all of the same as the other ones. He's got Longshank's ability, which is, stepping over things ability. And he's got Smash Down. He also has this Fort Crusher Flail, which is 3-inch range. Originally 10 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -3, 3 damage. That does a lot of damage. The one that I use the most often with 4+, 3+ is Kurnoth Hunters, and they can hit just fine, particularly if you're going to start off with 10 attacks. And that's more attacks than a round of Kurnoth Hunters with bows. So you're going to get a fair bit of attacks. It's rend -3, and it's 3 damage each. That is super nasty. Super nasty. Alright, now, Smash Down. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made by this model that targets a unit that is part of a garrison or is wholly on or within a terrain feature. The garrison being the more relevant now with the new book for tournaments that came out 2020. Why can't I remember the name of it? General's Handbook 2020 has the new garrison features. In addition, at the end of the combat phase, you can pick 1 terrain feature within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. If the roll is equal to or greater than the Smash Down value on this model's damage table, which starts off with 2+ and goes up to 6+, that terrain feature is reduced to rubble. All of its scenery rules are replaced with Deadly Scenery Rule, and its keywords are changed to Scenery Rubble. It allows you to walk anywhere. Okay, he's a Son of Behemat, he's got Terror, and he's got Timber, so it seems more straightforward. I guess it would be handy to have both of these, perhaps. I mean, I certainly he could be the scout Mega-Gargant, leading the way by clearing all of the terrain. How often can you clear this terrain? At the end of the combat phase, so once per round, you can just clear terrain features out of the way. Handy. You guys move 12 inches. At least one of you had the ability to move 18 inches instead. No, not 18 inches, but charge up to 18 inches. Cool. So much to think about. Alright, Mancrusher Gargants. And as you see, the other variants are not in this book because they are not part of Sons of Behemat. They are either Gloomspite Gits Orc, Beasts of Chaos. But the Mancrusher Gargants have a movement of 8, 12 wounds, 5+ save, bravery of 7. They have only melee weapons, except other than the fact that these guys can tell them, any of the Mega-Gargants, can tell them to fire rocks at 18-inch range, which is really cool. Anyway, they have a headbutt of range 1, which makes sense. 1 attack, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -3, damage initially as 4. You've got a massive club, 3 inches, 3-inch range, 10 attacks initially, that's savage. 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -1, 1 damage each. Still. Mighty Kick, 2-inch range, 1 attack, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -2, d3 damage. A unit of Mancrusher Gargants has any number of models, each armed with an Headbutt, Massive Club, and a Mighty Kick. And again, there's all sorts of ways that you can, all sorts of different little cute things that you can create to form their club. They've got a lot of different options that you can choose from. And all for aesthetics. You just choose the two that you like the most. Or make it entirely. I mean, it's all completely makeshift, right? Look at that. It's a dragon's head. I think. Looks kind of like a dragon's head. As the top, stuck to a mace. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. And this one is a chain attached to a piece of oh my gosh, and there's a cow. Isn't it great? The little cow. I mean, you don't have to attach it there. That one's not necessarily narrowly, but so many little extra pieces that you can add. These ones were like more basic. This bag of dudes and a barrel. You can do a lot with them. I mean, the pieces themselves, as you can see, the pieces themselves are the same. So how you put their arms and what little accessories you add to them, and of course how you paint them is what's going to really change up their appearance. And lots of ways that you can alter them though, and you even have, if you get the Mega-Gargant, which I'm sure you would, you can have extra pieces from there that could ump them up and change them up a bit. You only need, what, 6? Perhaps 9 if you want to choose only one Mega-Gargant. Mancrusher Gargants. And there's plenty of different heads. I think at least 4 or 5 different heads, basically. And just as they are. Okay. Keep up. If this unit is within 12 inches of a friendly Mega-Gargant at the start of the charge phase, it can attempt to charge in that charge phase, even if it ran in the same turn. Nice. That's good. Your move is 8, so up to 14 plus 12. That's good. A stomping charge. After a model from this unit makes a charge move, pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of it and roll a dice. If the dice is equal to or greater than the stomping charge value for the charging model shown on the damage above, 2+ up to 6+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. I like these passing around in mortal wounds. If this unit has more than one model, do not allocate the mortal wounds unit. Do not allocate the mortal wounds until all the models in this unit have made their charge moves. Okay. Makes sense. Stuff them in my bag. Oh, they've got little stuff them in my bag too. Except for it's one enemy model instead of D3 enemy models, as opposed to the Mega-Gargant, which is D3 enemy models. After one model from this unit piles in, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of it and roll a dice. If the roll is at least double that model's wounds characteristic is slain. I definitely like this ability, and it is so nasty if every single one of your guys, even the big guy, is just before the battle, before the damage is done. Sorry, before the combat round really gets on the go, you've got your charge, which you could have done from running. You've got your charge, and you've got them stuffing in the bag. So you're getting rid of models before anyone even starts using their melee weapons. That's super nasty. I mean, you need it because there are so many enemies in comparison to your maybe 8 to 10 models. So you definitely need that advantage. It's just so cool flavorfully too. Flavorful. So flavorful. And timber. Not timber. Timber. This one's just timber. If a model from this unit is slain before removing it from the battlefield, the players must roll off. The winner must pick a point on the battlefield 3 inches from that model. Each unit within 2 inches of that point suffers D3 mortal wounds unless it is a Gargant. The model is then removed from the battlefield. Just curious. Ah, you are a Gargant and a Mega-Gargant. Just making sure. And that is it. Awesome. Let me know what you thought of this army and how you would build it. And would you put one of these guys in your Order or Chaos or Death army? I mean, I would want to know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Look at the size of that guy. I'll cut off your kneecaps. Bye!